guys. So this video is a little late, but I thought I'd go ahead and do it anyway. And it's going to be about my thoughts on 9/11. To be honest, I have a lot of mixed feelings about it. I honor those who have died, but I also believe in continuing life and always seeing the world in a positive perspective. And anyway, I'm going to tell you what happened to me on that day. And that was that I used to have this best friend who I used to talk to all the time by email. We actually went to middle school together. And she had been with me through some of my toughest times through 6th grade. And she continued to be my friend through 7th and 8th grade. I will never forget how we talked the day before in email and how she was so excited to go to her dad's work. And I remember that it was 9/10, the day that I got the email. And the next morning I woke up with this bad feeling. I couldn't explain it. I didn't understand it. I just kind of knew something had happened. And from there, I remember throughout that day, after they told me that I could not believe it. And all I could think about was, is my friend okay? Is my friend going to email me again? Because she had moved to New York recently. And so, to make a long story short, she did not email me back. And that kind of answers your question as to what happened to her on the day of 9/11, because her dad was working in that tower. And her going to her dad's workplace was that place. And to this day, I've always wondered, like, how did she feel? And I've run it back 1,000 times in my mind, and it's hard to process. My life also changed because the day 9/11 happened, my father was called away. He is still with me, though, so that's good. But I remember being scared because I already knew that if they were calling the military people the day this happened, then it must be really bad. And to know that they were making plans to send people already away as quickly as it happened is just very shocking. I remember I wasn't even supposed to hear the phone call, but me being a kid, I decided to listen in. And so that changed because my dad had to go away. And I was worried about him, about his safety. Now, luckily, he ended up being a photographer, so he wasn't in severe danger or anything. I mean, there's still danger because if you're taking photos on a war zone or battle zone, that's pretty dangerous. But overall, he was still safe compared to other people. And the other thing that changed my life is my friend, who would later end up in a coma in Iraq and Iran because of the events of 9/11. So yes, he didn't die on 9/11, but he eventually died because of the cause and effect of that event. And so there's a chain reaction there. And I remember in another video I did, I spoke about chain reactions. And I think it's important that we remember what happened so that we can try to prevent it. Because by letting the world know what happened and by letting the world see how much it affected people, it increases the idea of compassion so this won't happen again. Because, yeah, it happened in the US, not somewhere else. But it could happen somewhere else. And it's not really the issue of terrorism that's the issue. It's how humans and humans view each other. The fact that we are of the same species, and yet we decide to have destruction to get a point across or to get someone's attention is wrong. Because we need to be united. And although despite the hardships that happened, it did unite a lot of people. It really did. For some reason, when disaster strikes, we're united. But don't you think it's time that we were united without disasters? That we were just united because it was the right thing to do? So we don't have to lose people? I lost 2 people because of the events of 9/11. And I miss them dearly. One the day of, and one because of the after effects. And with that said, I don't want to lose anyone else because of people trying to prove a point, or people trying to be the stronger government or authority. And to all those people that were heroes and saved people, I'm grateful because the numbers could have been greater had people not stepped in. In fact, I remember reading a story about a dog, and the dog helped save people. So it also affected our little furry friends. I'm not really sure what else to say. I just know that people need to work together, and people need to learn to coexist, because violence is not the answer. In this case, it was terrorism. Terrorism is not the answer. If you want to get a point across, talk to people. Don't go blowing up buildings. Because then you get, well, blood equals blood, is what I've always said. So, although peace may not always equal peace, starting to be peaceful towards others is how it starts. And fighting for the good is how it starts. So we can better our world. So events like what happened in 9/11 several years ago will not happen again. And so I leave you guys with that. And the last thing I want to say is I know some people had it worse. I know I had a friend who actually had another friend on the actual plane, and for whatever reason, the person decided to call them. And he had to hear it. So my heart goes out to those who lost family that day. Whether it was on the plane, whether it was in the building, whether it was just because of the smoke and the breathing issues that New York had, the list goes on and on. But those who stepped up and did something, I'm eternally grateful to you guys. Even though I've never met you and I don't know you, and you may not even see my video. But yes, those that are heroes, thank you. Those who will be heroes in the future and other events, I thank you. And I thank the lessons that were learned that day, even if they weren't pretty. But I think the unity that it brought was. And so that is it, guys. Take care and bye.